Hey everyone, ready for something pretty amazing. Today we're going deep on the mind-body connection.
Ooh, that's a good one.
You know that mysterious link between our thoughts and feelings
Right.
and our physical well-being?
Absolutely.
You sent me a video that got me thinking, and
Huh.
it was packed with some wild ideas, blending ancient wisdom with cutting-edge science,
Yeah. Yeah, I love how they did that in the video.
visualization, biofeedback, even dipping our toes into quantum mechanics.
It's so interesting how they brought all that together, like shamanism and all these ancient traditions.
Right.
They've harnessed the power of belief and ritual for healing for
Tens of
centuries.
centuries.
And now modern science is like catching up,
Yeah.
exploring things like visualization and quantum mechanics and how they play a role in health.
It makes you wonder if we're rediscovering ancient knowledge, but through a new lens,
Totally.
a scientific lens.
Yeah.
One story in the video that really got me was about this terminally ill man who used visualization to actually improve his condition. Yeah. He imagined his immune system as these warriors fighting off the disease.
Wow.
And amazingly, he started seeing positive changes. What explains that? What's the science behind that?
I mean, it's easy to just dismiss that as like a feel-good story, but there's this whole field called psychoneuroimmunology.
Say that again.
Psychoneuroimmunology.
Okay.
It's studying the connections between the mind, the nervous system, and the immune system.
So they're all connected.
Yeah. Think about athletes who mentally rehearse,
Right.
their routines.
Okay.
Studies have shown that their brains activate similar areas, whether they're physically doing it
Oh, wow.
or just vividly imagining it.
So you're saying just thinking about something
Yeah.
can actually create changes in the body.
Exactly. The brain doesn't always know the difference between what's real and what's imagined.
That's crazy.
So when you vividly visualize healing, it's possible that you're sending signals to your body that actually help boost its recovery.
So that connects with what they were talking about in the video with the cells listening to our thoughts.
Well, they don't have tiny ears or anything,
Right.
but think of your cells as these super sensitive detectors. They're
That-
always monitoring the chemical environment around them.
Interesting.
They pick up on even the tiniest changes in hormones.
Oh, neurotransmitters.
They're neurotransmitters, the things that get released when we feel emotions.
Right.
And those chemical signals, they can actually change how our cells function,
Yeah.
affecting everything from inflammation to our immune response.
So our beliefs and our intentions could be impacting our health way more than we even realize.
Totally.
Speaking of powerful tools, they talked about biofeedback in the video,
Oh, yeah.
a technique that helps people learn to control their body's processes.
Like learn to control their heart rate and stuff.
Yeah. They had this story about a woman who learned to manage her migraines through biofeedback.
Hmm.
Can you tell me a little more about how that works?
Sure. Biofeedback, it's like looking into your body's inner workings.
Okay.
It uses electronic monitoring to show you real-time feedback
Wow.
on things like heart rate, muscle tension, even brainwave patterns.
Really?
Yeah. And with practice, you can actually learn to control these things.
That's amazing.
Like that woman with the migraines, she discovered that her headaches always started with a subtle temperature drop in her fingers.
Oh, so biofeedback helped her recognize a pattern.
Exactly. A pattern she wasn't even aware of before.
And once she knew the pattern, then what?
Well, she was able to use the biofeedback techniques to learn how to increase blood flow to her hands.
To her hands.
Yeah, and that stopped the migraines from even happening.
That's wild. Now, they talked about this amazing concept of cells communicating,
Yeah.
like a network of computers, constantly sending messages to keep our bodies working.
It's mind-blowing.
Can you paint a picture of that? What does that actually look like?
Okay, so imagine trillions of tiny cells.
Trillions.
Each one like a sophisticated little computer.
Wow.
Constantly sending and receiving signals,
And what are they doing?
coordinating everything. Growth, repair, immune response.
Wow.
The fascinating part is that this communication, it's not just rigid instructions.
No.
There's actually a lot of flexibility in how cells respond to different signals,
Like what?
like chemotaxis.
Chemotaxis.
Yeah, they talked about it in the video.
Right, where the white blood cells use chemotaxis to get to an infection.
Yes, it's like they have a GPS.
Right.
They follow a chemical trail to get to where they're needed.
Wow. And then there's autophagy,
Oh, yeah, autophagy.
where cells recycle their own parts to survive.
It's like they're resourceful little creatures.
Right. Doing whatever it takes to keep going.
And keep our bodies going.
It's a level of intelligence we often just don't even think about.
We just don't think about it.
Right.
We see cells as these like passive building blocks,
Yeah.
but they're doing all these complex things.
That's amazing.
You can't deny there's some serious intelligence going on there.
So recognizing that our cells are intelligent changes how you view the human body.
It totally does. It's not just a machine.
Right.
It's a community of intelligent life.
Working together.
Working together, yeah. And it makes you want to treat your body differently.
How so?
With respect. Like a partner in your health.
I like that.
Not something to be controlled.
Right.
Understanding how they communicate, how they adapt. We can make choices that help them do their job.
Support them.
Yeah.
This is so fascinating.
Isn't it?
And there's still so much more.
I know.
Like cellular memory.
Oh, yes.
The idea that cells store memories
Like little hard drives?
of our experiences.
It's wild. This is where epigenetics comes in.
Epigenetics, okay.
It explores how our experiences can change how our genes express themselves.
Oh, so it's not just our genes.
It's not just the genes themselves.
But how they're expressed.
Right. And those experiences,
Okay.
both good and bad,
Ah.
they can leave a mark on our cells.
Really?
And potentially even affect future generations.
So you mean like trauma
Trauma
can be embedded in our cells?
is a powerful idea.
It is. It brings up all these questions about how these cellular memories are affecting us.
Right. And this is where things get even more interesting.
Even more interesting.
Because we're going to start talking about quantum mechanics
Okay.
to explain these mind-body things.
Quantum mechanics, that's a whole other can of
Yes,
worms.
it is.
They hinted in the video that it could be the key to understanding things like the placebo effect
The placebo effect.
and even consciousness.
I know, so much to talk about.
Okay, so much to unpack here. Why don't we take a break
Okay.
and let these ideas sink in?
Yeah, good idea.
We'll be back soon to explore more about this connection between the mind, the body, and the quantum realm. Stay tuned.
Welcome back.
It really makes you rethink how experiences shape us.
It does.
But before we go too deep into like the philosophy of it all,
Yeah.
let's bring it back to some practical stuff.
Okay.
The video mentioned that understanding cellular intelligence could lead to new approaches for health and well-being.
Right.
What would that look like?
Well, instead of just treating symptoms,
Right.
it means supporting the body's own ability to heal.
Taking a more holistic view.
So considering more than just the physical body.
Exactly. The emotional, mental, even spiritual aspects.
So creating an environment where our cells can thrive.
Yes. Nourishing our bodies, healthy food, movement, positive emotions,
Makes sense.
reducing stress, finding peace and balance.
Yeah, if our cells are intelligent beings, they'd respond better to that kind of support, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, but hold on.
Yeah.
I'm still stuck on this quantum mechanics thing.
Oh, yeah.
The video kept hinting that it could unlock even deeper mysteries of the mind-body connection.
It's a fascinating area.
Where do we even start with that?
Well, one of the core principles of quantum mechanics is that the observer actually influences the system being observed.
What?
It's called the observer effect.
Okay.
So imagine shining a light on a tiny particle.
Okay.
The act of observing it with the light actually changes its behavior.
That's so strange.
It is.
So are you saying that our awareness, our consciousness,
Yeah.
could actually be influencing our bodies at the quantum level? It's a crazy concept, but that's what some scientists are suggesting.
Really?
There's a theory that these tiny structures in our brain cells,
Okay.
called microtubules,
Microtubule.
they might be acting as quantum computers.
Quantum computers in our brains.
It's like they're orchestrating our consciousness.
I gotta admit, this is starting to sound a little sci-fi to me.
I know, it's pretty out there.
Can we bring it back down to earth a bit?
Sure, let's talk about the placebo effect.
Okay.
It's well documented that people can heal just because they believe they're getting a treatment.
Right, even if it's a sugar pill.
Exactly. So could that be consciousness, the act of believing, influencing the body at the quantum level?
So you're saying the power of a belief might not be so mystical after all.
It might have a real impact on our biology.
Wow.
Remember that story about the man who used visualization to get better?
Yeah.
What if his belief in healing was actually shifting his consciousness?
Yep.
And that influenced his cells at the quantum level.
That's powerful.
It is.
It makes you wonder if we've underestimated the power of our minds.
We might have.
The video even talked about our bodies being influenced by something called the quantum vacuum.
Ah, the quantum
Yeah,
vacuum.
what is that exactly?
It's like this sea of infinite possibilities.
Okay.
A realm where virtual particles are constantly popping in and out of existence.
Virtual particles, what are those?
Imagine a field of pure energy,
Okay.
a vast ocean of potential.
I'm trying to picture it.
And tiny bits of this energy briefly become particles
Okay.
and then dissolve back into the field almost instantly.
So they appear and disappear.
That's it. Those are virtual particles.
They come and go from this quantum vacuum.
Exactly. And they can actually affect the physical world.
Wow. So even emptiness is full of activity.
In a way.
And how does this relate to us, to our bodies?
Well, the idea is that we are not isolated systems.
Okay.
We're constantly exchanging information and energy with this quantum vacuum.
So we're connected to this field of infinite possibilities.
It's a profound idea.
It's a little scary, too.
It challenges our understanding of reality.
It does.
If it's true, it means we have access to a huge amount of information and energy.
That we're just starting to understand.
Exactly.
But if we are connected to it, how do we tap into it?
That's a great question.
Can we consciously influence this exchange of energy?
That's what researchers are trying to figure out.
Oh,
Some think ancient practices like meditation and energy healing could be the key.
really?
They might be ways to harmonize with the quantum vacuum
Interesting.
to tap into its healing potential.
So those traditions might be onto something much bigger than we thought.
It's a possibility.
It opens up a whole new way of looking at how our thoughts and beliefs interact with the quantum realm.
And how that affects our health.
This conversation is blowing my mind.
It's a lot to take in.
It makes me realize how little we actually know about the human body.
We're just scratching the surface.
It's both humbling and inspiring.
I agree.
We're living in a time of incredible scientific discovery. And as we explore these mysteries,
Yeah.
we might find that ancient wisdom and modern science are pointing to the same thing.
A new understanding of what it means to be human.
This deep dive has already changed my perspective on healing.
It's been a journey.
But before we get totally lost in the quantum realm, let's ground ourselves for a minute and think about what we've learned. Wow. This deep dive into mind-body connection has been a real trip.
It has.
We've covered so much.
So much.
Visualization, biofeedback, the intelligence of our cells, and then that whole quantum vacuum thing.
Yeah.
I have to admit, when I first started thinking about this topic, the quantum vacuum seemed a little
Out there.
a little out there,
I get it.
even for me.
Yeah.
But the more we talk about it, the more it makes sense.
Right.
It's like this underlying energy field that connects everything.
It's a big shift in perspective.
It is. To think that we're not just isolated beings, but part of something much bigger.
A whole interconnected web.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm still trying to figure out how we actually apply this knowledge.
Okay.
If we're interacting with a quantum vacuum all the time,
Yeah.
how can we use that, to help ourselves be healthier and feel better?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
And we don't have all the answers yet,
Right.
but there are some clues,
Okay.
both from ancient wisdom and from modern science.
The video mentioned things like meditation and energy healing. Could those be ways to tap into the quantum vacuum?
So think about what happens when you meditate.
Okay.
You calm your mind.
Right.
You shift your brainwave patterns.
Right.
You're creating a more coherent state of being.
Okay.
And some researchers think that this coherence could make you more sensitive to the energies of the quantum vacuum.
So it's like tuning into a radio frequency.
Exactly. And just like a radio signal can transmit information, maybe a coherent state of consciousness lets you receive information and energy from the quantum vacuum.
And that could help with healing.
That's the idea.
That makes sense why people feel so grounded and centered after meditating.
And healthier.
And healthy.
And it's not just meditation.
Oh, yeah.
Energy healing practices like Reiki or Qigong,
Yeah.
they focus on these subtle energies too.
Right.
We don't totally understand how they work.
But they could be interacting with the quantum vacuum.
It's possible.
This is all pretty mind-blowing.
It is.
We've barely scratched the surface of what's possible when it comes to healing.
I think we're on the verge of a huge change in how we think about health and consciousness.
Really?
As we learn more about the quantum realm,
Yeah.
we might see that ancient wisdom and modern science are both telling us the same story.
It's exciting to be part of this discovery process.
It is.
We don't have all the answers,
Not yet.
but just asking these questions is opening up so many possibilities.
It is. And, you don't need to be a quantum physicist to tap into this mind-body connection.
That's good because I'm...
Me neither. But we can all start by paying attention to our thoughts,
Right?
cultivating positive emotions,
Yeah.
trying things like meditation or spending time in nature.
Those things can make a difference.
A big difference.
The key is to treat our bodies with respect,
Respect and curiosity.
to listen to what they're telling us.
That's it.
This deep dive has been incredible.
It has.
I feel both humbled and empowered.
That's great.
Humbled by how much we still don't know, but empowered by the fact that we have this potential to heal ourselves.
I love that. I hope this exploration has sparked your curiosity.
It really has.
Maybe inspired you to explore the mind-body connection yourself.
Thank you for guiding us through this.
My pleasure.
It's really changed how I think about what it means to be human.
That's what it's all about. Keep asking questions, keep looking for answers, and keep believing in the amazing potential we all have.
Great advice. Thanks again for joining me.
Thanks for having me.